this is Simon and Aaron with Assets and Arbitrage. I'm sorry, my voice is still gone. So y'all just have to just roll with us for this week. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, yeah, I just wanted to say, I hope everybody had a productive and constructive weekend. We also want to say happy Malcolm X Day, on May 19th. So hopefully everybody had a very happy, festive Malcolm X Day. So today the show we're going to come to, I guess the title is called Endgame, and we're going to talk about some things that are looking don't look too good and looking very bad. And so I'll let you start with that.
So Tino's in the background, y'all just ignore him. So for my Marvel fans, you guys remember in the previous movie, Thanos snapped his fingers, it was only half the population, society completely collapsed, garbage was everywhere. I don't know how many of you are Marvel fans. And then in Endgame, what they had to do was kind of reset the clock using quantum physics, go back in time and try to make things better. One of the reasons why we named this show Endgame is because it's looking like it's time for the United States to have a reset. The United States is currently looking at a possible default on $34.1 trillion with a T. And Jamie Dimon has kind of been saying, like, let's get on with it. If the United States defaults on that $34.1 trillion in debt, a lot of that debt actually belongs to China, which pushes us into the BRICS nations, the BRICS collective. Okay, but let's go back. Last week, we were telling you guys it's time for you to pull out your history books and start looking at the collapse of Rome, because the pattern is almost the same. It's gonna be a little bit different because we're in a technological age. They were in a more ancient time, but the collapse is gonna bring the United States into either a frontier market or an emerging market. I pray that it's an emerging market and not a frontier market, because if it is a frontier market, that means things have gone bad. So it's the weekend, the kids are restless, I'll ignore them. But I do want to talk about de-dollarization. I know we keep talking about it, people on the channel are talking about it, but it's important to see what you're looking at. This is the time, if ever, to find a safe haven.
It's a safe haven, right? I just want to circle back real quick as you talked about, we had done a show called CBDCs Trap, and we also did Fourth Turning. So if you're not familiar with those things, you go back and check those out, and it'll tell you about the cycles of the collapse of empires. And, just give you more clarity on actually what's going on. Like she said, the fall of Rome.
Right. So looking at de-dollarization, this is gonna the first time in a very long time that the United States is actually losing its power as a world power. A lot of you have grown up where the United States was literally the center of the universe. Your parents have grown up where the United States was the center of the universe, and your grandparents have grown up where the United States was the center of the universe. And we're at the point now where we're going to be at the bottom of the ecosystem. BRICS Collective has 31 applicants right now that in August, when they meet, are going to sign up so they can be part of BRICS in order to usurp the US dollar, okay? As the dollar begins to crumble globally, the dollars are essentially going to be shipped back to the United States because nobody cares or wants them. And inflation is going to look crazy. It's going to be very volatile. You guys are crypto warriors, so you're used to volatility, but the rest of the US isn't, right? They have no idea what is coming to them and what volatility really means in the market. Markets are going to crash. People are going to be swirling for safe havens. And what you need to know is that the BRICS Collective want to come up with their own currency that is going to be backed by
gold. So, and one thing we want to remind you guys of, good friend of the show, CEO Andy Shackman, and also Mike Maloney, they will tell you that a world reserve currency and or any currency usually has a lifespan of about 47 years. So when they talk about the US dollar has been around a long time, but they start the lifespan right there when President Richard Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. So that was in 1971. So the dollar has lived longer than the normal lifespan of all currencies.
Yes.
But if you do your research, you will see that all currencies go back to their normal value, which is 0. They will all do it. The longest standing currency is the British pound. I think it's about 350 years. And when you first got a British pound, when it came into existence, it was worth 12 ounces of silver. It's lost 99% of its value. So this is what happens when she says collapse. You'll still have dollars, it's just losing value, losing value, losing value. And so like you want a safe haven. Look where somewhere you can put your dollars, all right? I mean, you have to be strategic with this because of course you need dollars to operate in day-to-day operations, but if you have anything squirreled away, put away, start looking for stuff. So we started talking about Bitcoin. So I was talking about precious metals, things like that. And because it's getting low, we're over here, we're seeing the strengthening of the Mexican peso against the dollar. And that shouldn't be happening. But Mexico is part of the people applying. So they are not and they try to call Mexico a third world country. No, it's not. It's not a third world country. So, and it is one of the United States' biggest trade partners. So if they're going to apply to BRICS nation, that means they are trying, like she said, to usurp the dollar. And so you see a lot of these nations popping up. And like we said, it's not about the size of the nation or their economy, but it's where they are located. See, this is North America, United States, Canada, Mexico. And if Mexico's starting to move this way,
South America will follow suit.
Yes. And you already see, Brazil is part of the BRICS nation, but then, like we talked about Argentina, everybody's going to start moving in that direction because
everybody's tired of the bully.
Yeah.
So they forming like Voltron, y'all, and they gonna beat the bully behind. And that's exactly what's happening. And unfortunately, we live in the bully's house. So I find it interesting though, babe, that I cannot find any article where the United States is responding or addressing or acknowledging what's going on with the BRICS nation. I don't know if it's a media blackout, if I'm just missing it, if it's not on my watch list, but I find it very interesting that I'm not hearing from the Yellens and the other financial people in the United States, other than Jamie Dimon. Jamie Dimon is the only one who's acknowledged and addressed, let's get on with this. Let's collapse it, right? Let's stop. They've been propping the dollar up for
a long time.
About 25 years.
It's been a long time.
They've been propping the dollar up for a long time, and we're at the point where this house of cards can no longer be propped up. So, I think it's important that you find a safe haven. We have been yelling from the rooftops. We've been yelling from the mountains. Y'all get y'all some. You cannot afford gold. Get you some silver, right? Get your Bitcoin dollar cost average. Every time you get some money in your hand, take a portion of that money, buy some Bitcoin, buy some silver. If you can afford gold, definitely go there because that's where they're putting their dollars. So you put your pennies where they put their dollars.
Shout out to the chief person, Gibson.
Also, shout out to the Colonel. I think it's important to know that as this is happening, we have to keep cool heads. We cannot panic. We cannot have lettuce hands, right? We want to have diamond hands. And we want to really be able to strategically position ourselves in a way where, yes, there's going to be volatility, but it's not going to bring the house down. It's kind of like hurricane season. You want to batten down your financial hatches. So tip one, don't make any large unnecessary purchases. I know you see that 70-inch television. You know, football season is coming. You don't need that television right now, okay? So little things like that. Women, I know we love Amazon, but we really want to slow down our unnecessary Amazon purchases, right? If you need that air conditioner because it's summertime and it's driving you crazy, by all means, please purchase it. But for all of the other unnecessary purchases on Amazon, we really want to start to save the power of the dollar, because as volatility begins to take place, you're going to need a lot more dollars. You're going to get a lot less value that you're used to. When you go to the supermarket, you know, $150 in groceries is going to look like $35 in groceries. Your gas bills, when winter comes, for those of you who live in the Northeast, your gas bill is going to be exorbitant. So you really want to start preparing, even though we're heading into summer. If you live in the Northeast, if you live someplace cold, you're thinking about gas bills. If you live someplace very, very hot, like Texas and Florida, you want to start right now thinking about how much your electricity bill is going to be when the heat really starts to hit you, and find ways to really try to reduce that as much as possible. Food. I'm going to say this, and a lot of you are not going to like it, but we want to start rethinking our lifestyle and consumption, right? Groceries, first of all, you're going to start looking at shortages. So the things you absolutely like, love, and crave, you may not be able to access. You're going to want to start changing the strategy in which you buy groceries, how much groceries you buy, and what you're consuming. You may want to start looking at, not to say the generic brands, but you may want to start looking at the generic brands over the premium brands. Little things in order to just kind of save the power of the dollar that you have left. Say that again. You want to start looking at ways in order to save the power of the dollar that you have left. Okay, because the dollar is also over 99, has lost over 99%. I think it's 99.6%.
97 something, but it,
97 something, 97.1 or something like that of its value. Okay, there's not much left to lose. So you want to be strategic in your household in order to kind of mitigate the volatility that is coming. That is, some of you may already be seeing it. It's going to get worse.
And so, like, we did a show a while back about flag theory. So this is why it's important on planting flags in different places, right? The way that we put it, I'm not going to go over the whole theory, but the way that we put it is, if you had a financial advisor and you said you wanted to put all your money into one stock, they would advise you against that, right? So that's what happens when you have everything that you own, or, you know, assets and stuff in one country, because once that country starts to fall apart, then everything you have is going to fall apart. And that's why it's I think wise to, you know, plant flags in other countries, you know, deal with other bank accounts in another country. That's why people, you know, back in the day used to use Swiss bank accounts and stuff like that, and taking their money and moving it offshore. And you might want to get some property. Everybody likes who likes real estate. You might want to look into property abroad, somewhere else. So, you know, there's cheaper plots of land, there's cheaper buildings and things that you can buy in other countries. So if you have all your money in one place, if that place starts to crumble, so that's why we preach the flag theory, where you have a little something everywhere, you know, somewhere you can go if you need to, if it's starting to get too chaotic, you know, if it's starting to get too bad in a place, you have a place that you could slide off to, you know, and like I say, I like to say lay low, but you know, you can.
If you are going to plant flags, you definitely want to plant a flag in a race collective nation at some point. Be strategic, right? Because they're going to be backed by gold. Two, I just want to mention this, and I just want you to see the importance of it. Bhutan, one of the BRICS collective applicants, is trying to raise capital. They're going to try to work with Singapore in order to raise capital so that they can mine their own cryptocurrency, likely Bitcoin. They are looking at water technology, they're looking at wind technology. They are a hot nation, so they're looking at any way they can use their natural resources in order to mine likely Bitcoin. I can't imagine they would be mining any altcoins. It's a nation that's going with the BRICS nation, and the BRICS, Russia uses Bitcoin to usurp sanctions. Right? I don't know if you guys know that. So I want you to understand that the big dogs, the ones who are really playing chess, use Bitcoin and gold. And that's what we've been telling you guys from the beginning, right? Definitely want to look into some. We are not financial advisors. We do not give financial advice, but we are saying it's probably a good idea to reach into your tool bag and you can mitigate some of this volatility by dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin. If you cannot afford gold, silver.
And and I understand what you mean by gold, affording gold. But if you go on these sites and these places, you can buy grams of gold.
Really?
Yeah, it might be about close to $100. If you can't afford a whole ounce, that's what she's saying. Because it's gonna be like $2,000.
Yeah.
But you can get grams of gold. And like just every time you get paid, pay yourself first. Pay yourself first. We like silver, it's more affordable. It has more room to grow. There's a thing that you use, it's called the gold to silver ratio, which is about, I haven't checked in a while, but it's probably 1:70. And all that means is how many ounces of silver does it cost to buy an ounce of gold? And they typically tell you, once you get to about 1:40, then you start either trading your silver in for gold or start buying gold. So right now with the gold to silver ratio, it's good to buy silver. If you have the opportunity that, you can still pick up some gold, but whatever you have, it'd be better invested in the silver.
And it's easier to access, it's more affordable. But like I said, for people who have large amounts of money,
they're gonna go to
some
gold.
of our viewers may have large amounts of money, you don't want to buy gold. We have gold. Right? We have a lot of children, so the silver for us is not only is it more economical, but to divvy up among the children and their children. It's just a lot more to go around. But we do have a lot of gold as well after a while. So there's nothing wrong with, you choose whatever's best for your household. But understand that this is what people are doing. The BRICS collective is moving toward the currency backed by gold, right? Your dollar is backed by the trust in the banks. We don't even have that anymore. Your average United States citizen does not trust this bank anymore. Right?
Yeah, and you've seen it. You've seen the
TikTokers.
Some banks collapsed. What was the last bank that collapsed?
It was First Republic, but they were wealthy patrons. Jamie Dimon bailed them in because bailouts are illegal. They bailed them in, so the bank collapsed 3 o'clock on Friday. Can't remember the date, but it was like 2-3 weeks ago. And it was open Monday morning at 8 a.m. because Jamie Dimon bailed them in. Silicon Valley Bank did not have that fortunate outcome. They just collapsed. Roku had 340 million. Y'all fact check me, but they had a couple $100 million in Silicon Valley Bank that was not FDIC insured, so they lost it when the bank collapsed. Right now, FDIC is doing everything they can to see how they can help mitigate that, since Roku is such a large corporation. And the question is, why did the bank collapse? The bank collapsed because they're rehypothecating your money. We're talking about needing more dollars in order to do less. Banks don't have no dollars, right? They are making these numbers up. They're numbers inside of a computer. They do not have what they say they have when you go to the bank and ask for that physical cash. So that is another way to kind of mitigate against volatility. If you are a high income earner and your income comes through your checking account, you really want to find safe havens for your income. That's very important. We're high income earners. We shove as much money as possible into safe havens so that we don't have a lot of money sitting in the checking account if there's a run on the bank. Right? If there's a run on the bank, I only need like $5,000. That's all it's probably in there. You understand what I'm saying? Where I don't need 50,000, I don't need 70,000, I don't need 90,000, because that money is typically either in our physical silver or precious metals, or the money is, and we do have paper money. We understand that. I'm not paper money. Paper silver, we understand that gets rehypothecated as well, but it does have a utility that our household appreciates. Before y'all start sending me emails about it. Every household has a utility. You got to do what's best for you. But the show is really about Endgame, racing for that reset.
Yes.
Will we get that reset? Maybe, maybe not, right? And resets take a long time. I know Marvel, has to do it in 3.5 hours, where all is well again at the end of the movie. But just understand that the damage that is done in societal collapse and economic collapse, in shortages, et cetera, doesn't matter how you reset it or start over again, that damage has lasting consequences. And you're gonna feel it for a long time. So you wanna kind of brace your household. This is hurricane season, financial hurricane season, y'all. Batten down those hatches, start looking at your purchases, start looking at your bank ledger. What are you spending money on? Are you buying hats from Candy Crush? Stop it. All right, cut that off right now. People do it. I say Candy Crush, but whatever the hats are, if you guys have kids, you may have to kind of rein them back from, what is the name of the PlayStation cat? Whatever it is we give the kids, we got to rein them back. Like,
yeah, you do. You have to just kind of maybe change your lifestyle. But I do have to circle back to something you said.
Okay.
I know this is we're out here with our crypto warriors, and a lot of people are, if you will, looking for 10 baggers, 100 baggers, and stuff like that to just multiply your money. But understand that the people with wealth aren't really trying to multiply their money as much as they're trying to protect it. Right? That's why you had all those treasury bonds that they didn't really give you any yield, but if you had enough wealth, they used to say you could live off the interest of your wealth. This was back in the good old days, right? The 80s and 90s, but people are trying to find places to protect their wealth and protect their spending power. So as we're, like I said, I'm probably a Bitcoin maximalist. I know a lot of people are on these other coins looking for these great gains, but right now you might want to just protect your wealth and like I like to say, lay low, let the growth. That's with silver. Nobody, you don't really get big gains on silver, but it is it is wealth.
Now I do want to say this: the price on silver is suppressed because JP Morgan Chase is trying to be the there's a word, it escapes me. But basically they're hoarding the silver. So the price is suppressed for that reason. The price for silver is also suppressed, and the price for gold as well, let's be honest. Is also suppressed because they are trying to prop the dollar up. If they start shooting the silver and the gold up, people are gonna get hit to what the hell is going on. They're gonna panic and it's gonna be a hot mess. So you wanna understand too, why is silver so economical? You guys keep telling us, get silver. It's barely $30. Yes, because Jamie Dimon wants to be able to buy it in large amounts, in megatons. We're talking literal megatons.
They are the largest holder of silver in the entire world.
And China is the largest holder of gold in the entire world.
So you got to understand silver is wealth, but it's also an industrial metal. So it's used in all your, laptop, all your technology. So if the price rises, then in your iPhone, your iPad, whatever you
have,
that's
going to raise.
That's going to go up. And they're doing the green. What is it called?
The green initiative.
Green initiative, which you have your solar panels, which have silver, We talked about it also in another show in South Africa with the Sun Exchange. You got the solar panels. They have a lot of silver. So they try to keep the price down so stuff is affordable. But once it goes, you know, you got an iPhone now, it costs $5,000.
Instead of $1,000, $1,100, $1,200.
Yeah.
But we are headed that way, y'all, right? So let's be honest, we're headed that way. So this show was really to kind of get you thinking about ways that you can mitigate the volatility that's coming our way. You know, understanding that the BRICS Collective, they're meeting in August. Okay, it's May. So you really want to start, because once that ball gets rolling, that's when you're going to start to see signs of the collapse. They're going to be accepting the applications of many countries. While they are stating that they're going to be working on green initiatives, let's be honest, these nations are nations that are rich in oil, crude oil, and a bit more crude technology. Yeah. Okay. The United States is actively working on green initiatives. That's Biden's whole administrative initiative is green initiatives. That's what he was really kind of running on, right? No more coal mines like the previous president. BRICS nations is saying, nah, we got lots of crude oil, we need to use it. So this is another reason why the US dollar is being usurped, because the initiatives that they're running towards are in opposition of the initiatives that this collective group is moving towards, and where the group is located, okay? They're located in the East. Andy Schechtman was on our show. What'd he tell you? He told you that hundreds of thousands of megatons of gold has been shipped to the East. It's not even documented. Yeah, it's not documented. You can't find it anywhere. And what she's talking about with the oil, you know, because the United States wanted all settlement and oil transfers in US dollars. And that's why they're trying to usurp it, because like we said, it's hard to get dollars. I'm talking about large amounts of dollars. Over in the East, because look how far away we are from it. It's hard to get. So like I said, at some point, y'all, you're gonna live to see those dollars come back home. You're not gonna be worth anything. For those of you who saw Venezuela, not saying it's gonna be as bad, but it's gonna be pretty damn bad. So we are a household of 6. We have 4 children. While one of them is pretty independent, he's only 21, right? So we are still teaching him, he's still part of the household. We are still teaching him how to protect his wealth, how to get wealth. We have wealth, we're more concerned about protecting it than, like he said, doing the 10-bagger. Because you can lose the majority of your wealth chasing after wealth that you're not gonna get, especially during these turbulent times. And we are living in turbulent times. It's not even that interesting anymore. So I want you guys, quickly. So, you know, we want you guys to be prosperous and abundant. We want you to have an abundant mindset, but we also want y'all to be the warriors that y'all are and protect your household financially. Okay, so just start thinking about the ways that you can mitigate some of this volatility without panicking. That's it for me. That's it. You know, like I said, our good friend, CEO Andy Schechtman says all the time, the US dollar is going to be hanging on the wall in the Smithsonian. I mean, it will be done. It's done. And one more thing, the US is going to try to come up with their own CBDC. Okay, that's going to be worse than the dollar, because we're back to digital money that doesn't exist. But I want to give my technological people, my techies, we know that what they are going to do, and they're already doing, is they're looking at your spending habits. Certain spending habits will be incentivized, so they'll give you more spending power CBDC wise. Certain spending habits will be penalized. Okay? And like on purpose, right? It's almost like that Black Mirror. I don't know if you guys watch Black Mirror on Netflix, but if you do, it's a show probably like in season 2. No, this is serious, where they were in Japan, they were living on social credits. If they did something wrong socially, that was seen as, what is the word I'm looking for? not offensive, but it's like
it just didn't, it didn't.
it's a French term that people use.
Okay, I'm not sure what that, I don't watch.
Meaning like by accident you offended someone. It's a faux pas. If you accidentally do a faux pas where you're like, oh, I'm so sorry, you lose social credits and that affects your spending power. Now you don't get the Uber Black. All of a sudden Uber Black's not on your screen anymore.
Because they're already doing that in China.
Yes.
And but like she just said, Uber. You know, you got a rating on Uber, whatever, 4.7.
Yeah. When your rating go down, Uber Black, you use Uber SUV.
Now people don't want to come pick you up. You done did something.
You don't get that 3 minute. There's an Uber right around the corner. You gotta wait 25 minutes. And
and we travel a lot. We use Airbnb. They do that same thing. You have a rating. You have a rating of people who leave credit. That they leave.
When the super hosts like you get Instabook. I can book boom boom right now. Go about my business. Or I gotta wait a whole day, maybe 2 days before you get back to me and tell me I can stay in that Airbnb.
Yeah.
They're gonna do the same thing with the CBDCs. They're gonna be incentivizing certain spending habits. So basically squandering your wealth is gonna be incentivized. They want to take the money back. And the people who are a lot more discretionary in their spending, you're gonna see how you're gonna just be penalized little by little by little by little by little. This is why you want to have your wealth and something else if you need to get your hands on some money and you're not relying on, this is the only thing that I have to do what they tell me to do in order to just kind of make it. I have to capitulate to the system in order to make it. And that is where they're trying to head anyway. So we want to keep our eyes on that as well.
Yeah, I mean, and when you talk about that
CBDC. I got it right this week, y'all.
We got what's the term? It escapes me, but they want to give people like a universal.
Whatever.
Universal income. What's it called?
The UBI.
UBI.
The universal base income, the UBI. Yep, they're trying to head towards there.
You gotta watch that, and that's where they will really penalize you for your spending habits.
Because they're giving you the money now.
They're giving you the money.
But that's be a lot of that from my research that I've been doing on the UBIs are for, it's almost like we're gonna trade out welfare.
Okay.
And welfare benefits. So that's gonna be your lower tier economic based society, right? I'm trying to use the right word.
That's the majority of society.
Unfortunately, right? That's not gonna, like your high income earners, y'all ain't gonna have to worry that you're not gonna qualify for UBI. But it's important that for your high income earners, if you have children, teach your children some type of craft, some type of mastery or something like that, so they don't have to be part of the capitulation of the system. This is very important. We spend a lot of time teaching our children a lot of things. That way we can kind of see where they have a propensity for, oh, okay, we're gonna kind of help lead you down this path since you're good at that. Like for instance, even though our 6-year-old's autistic, he's a master builder already at 6. That's all he watches is building and Cantu house. He's got Legos, he builds these colossal things. And it's like, okay, you look like you may want to do kind of some type of architecture or something like that. So that's the path we're going to try to push him down, especially since he's autistic. He needs a lot more hand-holding than the other 3 children. We are building men of value so that at some point they can be high-value men. You want to do that in your household. There are so many resources, free resources, paid resources that don't cost a lot that you can use right in your home in order to teach your child some type of mastery. Okay, there's a lot of resources. All you got to do is start looking for it, see what your child can do, and that way they're not part of the society that has to capitulate.
And you too, as well as you can learn mastery. No matter how old you are, right? It's mastery. If you want to master something, you want to switch something. A lot of people will have a career change. I know a lot of people who have retired and are still, you know, of working age, and they want to do something else. So, you know, they go on to try to master something different. So, you know, you can always be working on yourself. That's what we do. I was working on myself. She's working on herself. So we try to master some things. But yeah, we didn't have too much month for you, I don't think. Right? That was it.
We out. We're gonna see y'all next week, but spend this week meditating on ways to mitigate what's coming. Right? Thanos is coming. He gonna snap his finger and that's just gonna fall apart. So for my Marvel watchers, you absolutely understand how that movie went. You understand how the second movie went. You want to start coming up with your end game plan for protecting your household against what's to come. We love y'all. We'll see y'all next week. 40 minutes.
How much?
40 minutes.
Yeah.
6 seconds.
Okay.